Hi guys, welcome back to K-pop Talks, and today we're gonna do the last week of November. We're gonna do a weekly K-pop recap. I think it's number 32, and it's gonna include us 7-10 days of November. It's gonna be a lot of variety, I think, and let's just get right into it. First, we have a collaboration from AOMG. We have Grey, called Kunst, and Loco with Be Ready. Now, I don't know if this is a brand or something that they're pushing or they're working with. I have no idea. But the song itself is fine. I mean, Loco and Grey do their classic verses, classic flows. Cold Kunst gives a decent production on it. So I don't know if this is a brand they're doing and stuff like that, because they have like logos, they have like, what do you call them? Quotes. They have a design, they have clothes about it. So I'm curious to see what they're really doing with it. But even so, that I don't think that's really too much of a problem. I personally really enjoyed it. It's not that I personally think it's fine. And I enjoyed it. I think it's fine, but objectively, it's an okay song. It's stuff that I don't think AOMG should really do as much. It's so because I don't think fans really love it as much as they think. It's not doing great numbers, and also I don't think it helps the fact that they're doing a style that now, with a big majority of K-pop audiences, they normally don't really like as much. Next we have Tempest with Dragon. It's an okay song by them as well. This is right up their alley, up their style, classic K-pop 4th generation banger. There isn't really anything that stands out about it in my opinion. So Tempest, even though they're one of the rookies that I really enjoy, I have to say that the second part of their year have been quite disappointing for me personally, because they started strong. Their original EP was interesting. They put some interesting music out there, but it seems like eventually they stopped caring and they moved on immediately to, more classic stuff, which does them well. They're getting tens of millions of views. Pretty sure they have a lot of sales already for a rookie group, in proportion, obviously. But it's a forgettable song in my opinion. Very, very forgettable. Next we have a Kang Daniel song, Nirvana featuring PH1 and WDBZ. Good song by Kang Daniel. Really good production, solid vocals by him, really good features by PH1, I have to say, who has been really killing it this year, in my opinion, in features, quality of music, album. He's been doing really, really good. I've had his album on rotation all year. This year I've listened to a lot of Korean hip-hop compared to previous years, but he has been really, really good. He has been the best part of AMG/IR music, in my opinion. And the song is fine. The production is nothing to be crazed about, but it works. It's solid, it's good, and Kang Daniel does a really good job on it. Kang Daniel has been a really, really good artist. It shows exactly how, with the right team, with the right vision, knowing your colors, knowing who you are, knowing your style can do a lot to you as an artist. Because Kang Daniel is obviously, I think, a special talent, but in Korea there's a lot of guys who are very, very good, who have a lot of talents that he has, but they're simply because a lot of the decisions they end up doing around those talents don't really mesh up with them as much. They end up being very forgettable, sometimes not as good. Next we have ISO featuring Chilling Homie with Komi. Really good song, I have to say. Definitely Chilling Homie's part was better, but she does a good job. The production is simple, but it works. It's a vibe. It's a whole vibe, this song. And again, Chilling Homie brings a good feature, I have to say. Normally when you insert up hip-hop features like this, they tend to not be as, they go like the classic standard route. I don't know why there's this flare. I don't know how to fix it, guys. Let me just do this. Wait. I turned off the lights because for whatever reason the lights were doing this problem on the camera, but like I was saying, I think he did it different than others. The others tend to follow the standard route. He went his own run, his own style, and he killed it. Really good feature, and Azo also is a good singer, and the song is very enjoyable in my opinion. Next we have GYP himself with Groove Back, or Groove. I tend to forget the name of this song. It's a very classic, what do you expect from GYP? Classic R&B, classic soul, 80s disco, simple choreography. He wanted to make a choreography for the fans. There was like, people were mad because he was roasting certain people in a jokingly manner about how their dancing skills, like how, you have to shake more your hips, like honey and stuff like that. He was obviously very joking, but it's always trendy to just hate on people for no reason, I guess. But he toured the world apparently to shoot his music video, which is crazy when you think about it. Obviously on his private plane and stuff like that, because he's the coolest motherfucker. But he shows exactly why He's a really good musician. He's one of the top selling musicians in current history. People tend to forget this, but he is. And he's somebody that, doesn't make as much music because obviously now his company's, like 10, 15 times bigger than what it was in 2014, 2015 when he was consistently releasing music, 2016. And now he has more time, probably feels like the group is stable and the companies are stable. The groups and the company are stable, so he feels like he doesn't really have to be as involved into everything, so he can dedicate more about the music. The song is very catchy, I have to say. The chorus is very, very catchy. Gotta get my groove back. Like, that stuff just sticks in your head, it's a song you can listen to a million times. So yeah, good song, and obviously his vocals are always very solid. He's not a bad singer by any means, but yeah, really good song, and I think that is going to introduce maybe newer fans to JYP the artist as well, which is cool. Next we have Boa with Forgive Me. Legend, I love their last album, one of the best albums I think I've ever heard in K-pop. I always forget, is it better? I think the album is better, I'm pretty sure. I can check in a second right now. But while I'm talking about it, this is a good comeback by her, this is a good single to introduce your album to introduce your album to your audience. Yeah, it's better. It came out a couple of years ago. That was a really, really good album. One of the best songs of the last 10 years in K-pop, really. And she came up with a really good song. I need to listen to her project. I'll listen to it maybe later during the night. But it's a very, very good song. Obviously, Boa at this point, she's just a seasoned artist. She knows exactly what she's doing. She's been 20 years into the game. Her, if you compare it to a lot of other newer artists, she still sounds fresh. She's still pushing her boundaries and trying different things. You can't say that about a lot of other artists, even younger solo artists in Korea, She's not scared of trying different things. It's not like she's doing anything extravagant, but she's at least trying to do different things, which is really cool in my opinion. Having said all of that, pretty good single, and I think it was a good choice. Out of the songs that I have from the album, it was 3 or 4. Obviously, this was the best option in my opinion. Next, you have One Us with Dopamine. This is their first Japanese single. Very catchy chorus. Solid production. Again, they're not doing anything, extraordinary, but it's right up their alley. A little bit maybe more fun, a little bit more catchy and bright in that sense. It's not as much as they do it's not the same when they do their darker concepts. And it's simpler. They're not trying to tell you all we do our K-pop side. They're trying to cater more to a Japanese audience, and I think it's gonna work with this song. This song is actually quite catchy. I enjoyed it personally. It was a fun listen personally. Next we have Stacy with Poppy, another Japanese release. I think this is their first or maybe second release. Solid song, not as good as One Us Dopamine, but definitely solid. Fun. The production was actually quite fun to listen to. The chorus is okay, I have to say. The vocals, not my favorites from them. But yeah, it's a fun song. It's a very fun song to listen to. But it's definitely not up to par to the quality of Stacy has gotten us used to at this point, in my opinion. Next we have Hein or Hin with Orpheus featuring Jo Wang-ji. Amazing song. One of the best songs of the year, easily. Definitely will make my top 20, top 30, whatever that is. Great vocal, amazing feature. Very, very good production. And I've listened to her album today. Amazing. Really, really good album. It's rare to find an album that it's a ballad album, but still be very interesting, somewhat experimental in its own little way, And she's a great vocalist. You have to give her credit. I knew who she was. Never really delved too much into her music, but after this, I'll not miss anything she does. 100%. Next we have NMXX with Funky Glitter Christmas, classic JYP. New girl group, we have to make them a Christmas song. I don't think he did that with ITZY though, if I'm not mistaken. But it's a fun song, it's a fun listen, it's in my playlist. I really enjoy it. Good vocals, really, really good. It's nice to see NMX end the year well, after a terrible start. The last 6 months have been amazing. I'm really, really happy for them. Finally, we see them as a true group that actually makes quality songs, which, that wasn't the case when they debuted, in my opinion, at all. Even though the numbers are big, the songs are not good. I'll stick by that for the rest of my life, probably. Next we have TO1 with Friedstag. It reminds me a lot of old 17, some sort of highlight as well, when they re-debuted after Beast. They have a classic bright style, fun, funky production, very funny. They don't take themselves too seriously. That vibe that obviously 17 and in the male groups mastered. So it's a fun song. It's also one of the better tracks that I think TO1 has released since they've rebranded. So overall, I enjoy it. I think this stuff fits them quite. Next we have Looks like NTX with Old School. This is the first time I looked into NTX. I assume they're rookies, but I don't think they are. If I'm not mistaken. The song is fine. I don't think it's mixed perfectly. There's a lot of these times where the songs are not mixed the way they're supposed to. The vocals are very good though. You have to give them credit. The rapping sections are good. The chorus is quite forgettable. Like the song in itself is not something memorable, but I think it's quality. There's obviously something there for me. Like they need to like still like play a little bit with their sound around this sound, I think, and I think they can get really big. They're not a big group; they're a very small group, but I have a feeling they could do something more out of this. Like there is something there, in my opinion. Maybe I'm just dreaming. Next, one of the best rappers in Korea, Woo with Me. A great introspective song. You know, this is normally how he kicks off his albums. He did that with his self-titled album. He's doing it now with Karma. Amazing song, simple production, great lyrics, heartfelt moments, a lot of emotion in his voice. You know, I wouldn't say he's the most versatile rapper. There's way more versatile rappers like PH1, for example. This year has been extremely versatile. Even in his own little project, he does 4 or 5 different styles in his music. Who is this? But he does it very good. So definitely has to listen to Coma. I'll listen to later while we watch, I don't know, maybe football, not football, like baseball, basketball or something like that. But, you know, it's definitely something that I really like. You know, give him credit. I mean, like, he's a very, very talented artist, and he's one of those artists that I think somewhat are underrated. People tend to remember them only for like the really more poppy stuff that he does for fun and because he likes this artist. But as an artist individual, he's very, very good. Like he's a very interesting artist that I will go and check his albums even before than most American artists. You know, that's how much I respect him as an artist, for me at least personally. Next, a very pleasant debut. I think it's their debut, which is Artbeat with Magic. Now, Artbeat are famous in the community for doing cover dances, right? They got famous like 3 or 4 years ago, doing all these super crazy covers. 3 or 4 years later, they debut, and the song is very good. I'd say very, very good. Like it's clearly something they've worked hard on. The production, it's different. You know, it definitely stands out from everybody else. The vocals are good. I like the concept they went for. I like the chorus. It's obviously something they thought of. I think there's a small rapping section by the blonde girl. I don't know if it's rapping or like more like, yeah, it's like some sort of rapping stuff like that. But the song is very enjoyable. Great job. I didn't expect it from a group like this. I thought, oh, they're gonna just make their classic, you know, song. We're gonna try to be idols. They're doing this shit correctly, and they did it very, very good. And it's nice to see the support, right? It's not like, oh, we just want to see you do covers, and hopefully they keep getting support even after. This would be an amazing story if somehow they end up being an actual successful group, and I think they have the cards for it. I do believe that personally. Next up, The Fix, Rush. Solid rock song, kind of like an anthem type of thing. Great vocals by the female lead. Classic chorus that you would love to sing at a concert, and you go and you sing with them, and it's a very enjoyable song in my opinion. I think it's an all-female group, right? Or is it? Or am I just dreaming? I think it's an all-female group. So I thought it was like 1 male and 3 female. That's actually all-female group. I'm not mistaken. Still, very good song. Nothing amazing. Nothing like revolutionary. But again, I don't think you need to revolutionize in art every time. If you can just make that specific thing good, it's already enough, and they've done it. You know, it's a good song, simple production, simple instrumentals, but that drums hit really, really good. So very enjoyable for me, at least personally. One of my favorite rock songs coming from Korea this year. Again, like I said, K-Rock, unfortunately, I don't think can compete with J-Rock in Asia, but they're improving year by year, obviously. BB with Giotto, probably the best song. She comes from her album, which I ended up listening to. I think her album represents exactly what I think of BB right now. When she makes songs like Giotto, when she makes songs like Sweet Sorrow of Mother, you can clearly see her extreme talents, her creativeness, even Anima form to a certain extent. But obviously, working with 88 Rising now, she's getting more global. She's becoming kind of like that it girl for the alternative fan base that listens to K-pop, but it's American. For me, that is gonna cause, and it's caused in that album, but I think in general in a lot of her latest singles from last year and a half or so. Actually, more than a year and like 3 months. That's 15 months like that. To actually downgrade the quality of her projects. Because obviously she's focusing way more on visuals. If you look at Life's a Beat music videos, they're like music videos they shot probably in an hour in some like place. Now there's way more investments in this, and her image of being this kind of like woman that, you know, is, apart from the fact she's strong, she kills men. You know, I think out of all music videos I've seen, I think in all of them she kills a man at least. But so there's obviously something, at least image wise, she's really pushing heavy, you know, or at least her team is really pushing heavy, and I think that's smart. You know, that's something that the type of audience that she caters to really love. They love that, they think it's empowering and stuff like that. The music videos are all very good. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm saying they're very good and they're very enjoyable. Jota is an amazing music video, really really fun. But the music itself, I think in the album, you go from very quality to very basic to sometimes music doesn't even sound like her. The only reason I'm saying this is because I think she's a very very good artist. But again, I compare it to a Kang Daniel, right? Even though I think she's technically better than him in certain aspects, Kang Daniel is more true to his. I can't say that about BB last year. I don't believe that. And I'm not saying that she's not this alternative girl. Have you ever heard her speak? She's crazy. She's completely out of her, in her head, and that's a good thing. She's quite eclectic as a human. But I don't find that eclecticism or eclectism that you could see in her past music now. In a lot of these songs, it seems like it's fabricated. It's similar to what happened with Rina Sawayama this year. It's not that All the Girl is a bad album, but it lost a lot of the flavors, in my opinion, from her self-titled and Cyber Stockholm Syndrome, which were way better, and they're way more heard than this. Doesn't mean the quality is bad, it's just the quality has lowered quite a bit, and it's disappointing because BB is one of the most interesting artists that I've come from Korea, in my opinion. Next we have Red Velvet with Birthday. Every time Red Velvet does a red concept, people complain, right? And yet I've always believed that their best is Red, because I think this is where the eclecticness of SM, the fun, the surrealism, the interesting production, the interesting concepts and vocals and ideas and music structure comes around. The song is so fucking fun. Obviously references a lot of old music videos from them. And the reason why I say this is their best stuff is because it's the most Red Velvet stuff. When they do, you know, the Psycho, or when they do this type of songs like what's called Peekaboo, they're amazing songs, but they're more of what I would expect from a group from their generation. This is what really makes them Red Velvet for me, you know. And the music is fun, the production is dope, the rapping sections are good, and they constantly reference their own world. And I think there are very few groups that do that, really. Female groups specifically. Male groups, I think it's more common because they tend to tell like complicated stories, like let alone BTS, but I know CIX does it. I know Monsta X did it for a little bit. So my point is, seeing them do that as well is cool. But the music is really good. I mean, I see this every time. Really, really Bad Boy, people complain about it. That song is fire. Russian Roulette is amazing. Dum Dum Dum. Ice Cream Cake. You know, even if you go more recent history, even though I'm not the biggest fan of it, Zimzalabim, it's more Red Velvet than maybe a Psycho, even though Psycho is a better song, you know. Obviously songs like, Red, or the other one they made, Party Up, I think it was called, no? I think so. I don't remember, but they're better. Like Cookie when they did in Japan. Like even recently they did another song. I can't think of the name of it. They did a Japanese release this year, was really good as well. That's more Red Velvet, even though that's Velvet. But my point is they can do that. But this to me is the best Red Velvet. It's the funniest Red Velvet. It's the cool Red Velvet. But it's also the Red Velvet that makes them less money. So I understand why SM then goes back and does the Velvet stuff, because it's gonna sell more with this type of fans right now. It's simple. And also Yeri gets a lot of parts. People complain about Yeri not getting parts. She gets way more parts than Joy, at least in my opinion. You know, maybe if there's something to complain about, maybe it's the drop. It's a little bit too predictable for my own taste. But the song is very fun. Again, it's not the best. If you're gonna ask me, out of the last like 7 singles, is this the best? No, but it's still very good, because Red Velvet is in my opinion has Red Velvet has the greatest catalog in K-pop history. That hasn't changed for me in forever. I always said BTS could be, FX, Shiny. There's certain groups who are in that conversation for me, but rather, I think after BTS last 3 years of, I think, quite mediocre music, Red Velvet is still that for me. Amazing song, one of my favorites of this month, 100%. Another song from Only One of Us, the single songs, this Mill beat. It's completely different from anything else, right? Like the theme of like love doesn't really matter. It's just a banger with really good rapping, and then the music video talks about that. I think it's an interesting context from the other four songs. It's just very weird because it's unexpected. In a way, it's a good thing because it doesn't make me think every time I'm gonna listen to one from now on it's gonna be the same, but it doesn't feel at the same time they're really sticking true to their concept that they've been pushing. That's all I'm saying. I mean, all of that, pretty solid. I think rap song, even though the production doesn't fit at all with the vibe, and even with his own style of rapping, he sometimes overcompensates with like speed because the production just goes too fast. And I understand it. It's very very hard to do that. Next we have Erase with Stay With Me. Very fun listen to me. Very very fun. Cool production. Simple. There isn't much really to complain about. There isn't much to praise about. It's a fun song. It's a good song. It's a classic 6 out of 10. You know, you brought up a good score. It's a fun song, but I wouldn't say it's one of my favorites. Like compared to other songs that we've talked about, even Giotto, which is an amazing song. Like this song, like Red Velvet, like a couple seconds ago, it pales in comparison. But it's still a good song regardless, and I would recommend you this one because you might really love it compared to me. P1, P1, PH1 or P1H, no, P1 Harmony with Get Back or Back Down. I don't remember. It's okay. It's my probably least favorite P1 Harmony song in some time. I would say maybe. Yeah, single definitely. It's too much of everything. Definitely, it's more hip hop in that sense, so I should enjoy it. But I actually don't think that hip hop image really fits as much with P1 Harmony, even though there's a couple of members who have that maybe more like of a classic style. But I don't know. It's like, I wouldn't say it's a bad attempt at Icon, but it somewhat feels like that to me personally, even though that has nothing to do with it. It just reminds me of like, oh, they're trying to be Icon, but they're not fully committing to that aesthetic and that sound, in my opinion. ITZY with Cheshire. As soon as I start becoming an ITZY fans start saying their music sucks. I don't know if there's a thing on Twitter or Reddit, but bro, like ITZY is becoming really, really good. And even though I've criticized Mafia in the Morning and I've criticized certain decisions, it's undeniable that the last 2 years have been really good by them since they debuted, really. But even if you want to be a little bit more critical, right? Like I felt that at first they weren't really that much interesting for me. They were going a little bit around the Twice sound, the JYP aesthetic. They've kind of separated themselves and they're really good. Obviously, I have to admit they're probably the best dancing group of this generation. Definitely female. I don't know about male. You can argue certain groups, but I would say even male. They have really memorable choreographies, actually, that when I think about it, I don't think other groups really do have that. But the song is fucking fire. The production, the chorus, the vocals, the verses themselves, and the way the song flows. It's really, really good. No idea why people don't like it as much as I. Next, we're gonna get an XG tape. Gal's, what's it called? Gal's Cypher. Kokona Maya Harvey. We're gonna get a Gal Cypher from Kokona Majurin. I mean, I have to read it. Harvey. We're gonna get a cypher from Kokona, Maya, Harvey, and Jurin. This is the girls from XG, sorry. Bro, Kokona kills this shit, bro. Like, the flows, the way she sings her vocal, that she raps her vocals, the beat, the way she flows on it. That shit is sick. Don't get me wrong, the other girls do good, but she just makes them pale in comparison. And XG, which by the way, they're trying to sell Kevin, oh, they're an international group because they have a Japanese Australian girl. They're a Japanese K-pop group. Simple. Avex, I think it's good that people understand who Avex is. I know they're under another company, but Avex owned that company. And now I understand, because when I listened to XG the first time, I felt like, damn, they have something else, right? The full English song, the lyrics actually make a lot of sense, and the rapping was fucking sick. I was like, what was different about it? Now I completely understand. Avex is one of the most interesting companies from Japan. They produce a lot of super interesting out left field idol groups, and this is an out left field idol group for Korea 100%. You know, and remember when they clowned the Avex guy because he said, you know, oh, we have plans to come into Korea and take over. He wasn't fucking lying, because if this is just the start, I'm curious what he's gonna do. Now, as I said, I think they're gonna be fine. I think they're gonna grow because they have the potential to be really big, but the music is really good, and that I think matters more, because realistically, you can try to make the arguments with me as much as you want, you know, oh, if you come from a big company, but if you come from a big company, it's something more simple as that. My parents came before, so I had to stop the video. Obviously, this was it for November. Overall, I think a pretty good month. A lot of great solo stuff here and there. Some interesting solo group comebacks. It's been the same team, I would say, since September. We haven't had like a full month of only groups and a lot of big groups. Maybe there's 2 or 3, and then the rest are either mid-tier groups or a lot of times smaller groups. I assume December we're not gonna get anything as well, so at this point we're gonna be thinking about January. It's already a 30-minute video, around 30 minutes will be, so it will be very long. My favorites obviously was a lot of the solo stuff we talked about throughout this month, but we can recap it quite fast so that I can leave and move on. Obviously, Joichi Phobia enjoyed quite a bit. Nari in RPG, one of the best ones. Eternity was really good. The first week actually was interesting. Sai, Talk to Me, nice. I Light Alone. Heal Destiny Challenge is a good song. Lim Kim with Veil was really good. You Are, Everything You Are released was pretty good. Jukja had some really good songs. Definitely have to listen to the album. Alexa came back with an amazing song, one of the best songs of the year. We've also had some lowlights. Chen, Trend Z, in my opinion, very, very forgettable. The One by Dripping was very forgettable, in my opinion. Obviously, 50/50 was amazing. Jungji came out with something different. I Chilling had a good song. Unite had I think a pretty mediocre comeback. Hua had a solid comeback. Bia had a solid comeback. 50/50 had a great debut. BB, up and down artist in this singles that she dropped, in my opinion. Carby, an amazing track. And this week the songs we talked about, so which you already know my opinion. Woo, one of my favorites. Giotto Baby was my favorite. Red Velvet Birthday. It was really good. Itzy with Cheshire was really good. Having said all of that, this is it. Personally, I've really enjoyed this month. September and October for me were very mediocre, and even August really. And I would say it's nice to see probably the year ending on a positive note. Having said all of that, let me know what you think about these songs, your favorite, your least favorites, and thank you for watching. The 1 or 2 people that are gonna watch this video, thank you for watching my video, and see you next time.